welcome to Odd Shaped Panel, a pop culture discussion group. This is my girlfriend Kimber. Everyone, this is my girlfriend Kimber, and I'm Tom, and we're both nerds.
A bunch of goddamn nerds.
For all of those who do not know what we do, we are in a small group of fans who like to discuss movies, and in this show, we're going to go a little bit off topic and do comic books and how they relate to movies and television. So what we're looking for today is personal experiences with comic books, and maybe what was your first memory with comic books involved? And feel free to call in whenever you would like, and we'll talk.
What's going on, guys?
Hey there, how are you?
I'm doing all right.
Do you recall when you first got into comics or movies or films, like what really stood out to you?
Yeah, well, if you want to go comics, my dad traveled a lot when we were growing up, and he would always bring me back something, and he always brought me Superman or Batman comics. I'm 40 years old, so I have some comics that have not a lot, because remember I was a little kid then. One that I actually, now that when you're older and you have two incomes and you don't have kids, you just have two cats, you're available to do things that you want to fix your childhood. And I went online to find this comic.
Nice.
It's
Wow.
Shazam, Superman Shazam, and that comic really just, with Superman and Shazam, and who's this guy? When you're a kid, who is this guy that Superman can't handle him? He's got to have another guy to handle him. So anyway, I couldn't find that comic ever, so I went on eBay and bought it. Then I lost it again, bought it again, and then my mother, bless her soul, found it in the garage, the original copy my dad gave me.
I have a very similar story. I found it on eBay, and I was lucky enough to find it autographed by
Nice.
George Starling, the creator of Galactus, as well as this is Death in the Family, issue 2, where, spoiler alert, Jason Todd gets beaten with a crowbar and then dies in an explosion. Or does he?
Since we're showing cool stuff, I'll show you. I have this is all 90s Marvel cards, just all of them.
Wow.
Wow, I was in high school when that started happening, and because I collected football and baseball cards, I never got into the comic cards, but I still loved comics. So that's pretty cool.
My first experience with comic books had to do with Spider-Man series and the first appearance of the Punisher. I didn't enjoy the first appearance of the Punisher because he was still in development of what the character was supposed to be, but it branched out from there. And that's why I took umbrage with the whole, hey, Tom Barenthal was a great Punisher on Daredevil, because I just can't agree with such a thing.
What I do, I just do. It's out of necessity.
I just can't see a Punisher being the same height as Daredevil or anyone else. He has to be a really big, imposing-looking guy, and Tom Barenthal looked like I could bitch slap him.
Nice.
What about Dolph Lundgren's Punisher?
To me, it's a step up from Tom Barenthal.
Oh, man.
Where does Thomas Jane fit on that list?
He's not on the list. He's not. But then again, it's also because they ruined the whole story also. So what's your first comic experience, sir?
It's definitely my first memorable one was either Hawkman or Jonah Hex, because my barber kept along with all the magazines, and I remembered that I just loved the idea of reading art when I was little. That's how I saw it, and from there I got really into Spider-Man.
On the roof!
And my mom helped out too, because she was like more of a nerd than my dad would be. So like she watched Lois and Clark Adventures or whatever that was.
Yeah, my mom liked that one too.
In fact, Ashley asked us a question: which was better, The Adventures of Lois and Clark or Smallville?
I know you like Smallville.
I'll tell you right now, I have like 8 of the seasons of one of the shows.
Obviously, if you've seen any of my YouTube videos, Captain America.
Captain America, a product of old-fashioned values and exciting new science.
And he just resonated with me. I don't know why, but I just really like what he stands for. So that was one of the first comics that I read. And so that character's always stood out for me. And so I've loved him ever since. But, when I was a kid, obviously, we all watched the, 1989 Batman movie.
Do me a favor. I want you to tell all your friends about me.
And we grew up with those, and even like Batman Forever and Batman and Robin. Like, we watch it now and we're like, that movie sucked. Back then, we all really loved it. You cannot deny that you did not watch that movie and was like geeking out over it, because that's all we had.
I definitely still love the Tim Burton, both of the first two Batman movies he did. Super awesome. Danny Elfman, like, his score is so iconic too. I love the Joker. The Joker's been my hero since that movie came out when I was like 3 or 4 years old. So I have so much love for the Tim Burton ones. The Schumacher and so much, all that. I don't know.
Talk about your cold shoulder.
And even then, like, but we were kids, and
I will say, if Kiss by the Rose comes on, you're gonna sing it.
Oh yeah, you're definitely singing that.
So Adam, we're talking about first experiences with comic books. Do you remember how you first learned about superheroes?
I mean, I always used to watch like the cartoons and stuff, but I never really got into the comic books. I started around superhero stuff, like with the first Iron Man movie started coming out. I went back and I'm like, oh, that's really cool. All the knowledge I have is from the movies and from my girlfriend who looks into everything. I've always preferred the Iron Man movies. I mean, I'm an engineer. So
okay.
Seeing stuff like that is just like, I find myself on a weekly basis trying not to buy an Oculus Rift or not to buy some VR stuff just so I can feel a little bit closer to Tony Stark. I work with 3D solid models all day. All I wish I could do is reach out and touch stuff and see it in like perspective 3D. So I mean, eventually I wish that I could just plug in a VR headset to my computer at work and do my engineering that way, but I'm not sure if it's ever going to get there.
You're a fan of Captain America. I'm interested to know who you think the replacement should be.
If they want to please me, they're going to choose Bucky.
Yeah, and if they want to make everyone mad, they're going to pick Falcon.
Yeah, I mean, the reason that they would choose Falcon is the kind of what they're going through right now with the Ghost in the Shell kind of thing, which, I mean, makes sense. You kind of got to stay true to the comics if you.
Well, I mean, at least they would be staying true to the comics because they did that in the comics. But the whole design doesn't even make, like, I don't get why he has wings and a shield. How can you really do that? Doesn't it mess with the aerodynamics? Plus, he's just kind of like, I read the runs he was in, and he's like the opposite of Captain.
I think the worst part about his run as Captain America was that they started the event with Onslaught, which turned all the good guys evil. So you really didn't get to see him as a Captain America that you'd want to see. But now in Civil War II, it's Captain America and Black Panther on the same side.
As long as they do it nice and with respect, I'll support any move Marvel makes. They're doing pretty good.
Who's gonna die? I say it's gonna be War Machine.
I feel like they want us to think it's War Machine. It's not. And we know it's not Tony because Tony's going to be in Spider-Man.
Tony's a franchise player. He's the reason this is all still going on.
Yeah, but we also know that Robert Downey's going to be stepping out soon. We just don't know when.
Yo, aren't they going to do a reset of all of the universe after Thanos?
I don't think so. That would be horrible.
I heard that rumor as well, and I would absolutely hate that if they did that. Like, to me, they should build off of it, and if they do it like a soft reboot, like that's the thing is let's have Bucky become the new Captain America. That'll be Phase 4 and so forth. Like, we don't hard reboot the franchise. That'll be the worst mistake that Marvel would do.
Yeah, there are too many movies deep, and I think that's one of the problems that X-Men has is they just keep fucking with the timelines and messing with the canon, you know.
Well, and did you guys hear that the rumor of the Inhumans movie getting canceled was that behind closed doors, Fox and Marvel may be working out a deal to put the mutants back in, you know, sort of like the Spider-Man deal.
Oh, so they don't even need the Inhumans anymore. That seems
the Inhumans were like the answer to, you know, the mutants not having mutants.
We need you to hope again.
Hey, Steven, you look comfortable, man.
Oh, I'm so comfy.
We were talking about Captain America.
Oh, I love Steve. Steve's a good guy.
Are you Team Cap or are you Team Iron Man?
Oh, I hate Captain America, so
Oh man, give me my props back then.
You just started a war.
Dude, Iron Man's cool. He's got all the gadgets. He's got a red suit like Santa Claus. He shoots stuff.
Why did they never explore Iron Man's alcoholism in the films? They dealt with that a little bit.
They touched on it, but they're not going to try to make the fun character into an alcoholic. Demon in a Bottle was a really good run.
Great run.
Steven, I know you don't have any background in comic books.
I have some background, okay?
Oh, do you remember?
I was playing dumb.
This episode's about personal firsts. Do you remember the first time you picked up a comic book or heard about a superhero?
It surprisingly was the Ultimate Spider-Man. I at my local library, they used to have like random copies from like the first 30 volumes. I didn't really get a real appreciation for the comic till I picked it up like, I don't know, 2 years ago, 3 years ago. And I just started reading them. They were awesome, freaking on point. I couldn't appreciate the level of detail that went into them when I was in middle school. But I ended up going like mad. I bought like 140 copies of this comic. And I didn't know what to do with them after I finished reading them. So
because you're such a nice guy, you donated those issues to the library so you could spread the love, right?
Well, that's actually a pretty good idea. I tried giving them to my friend's little brother, but I think they ended up giving them back to me. I think they're actually in the other room in a big box.
Am I wrong in that assumption? Thanks for stopping by.
Wow.
He's
Well, this got crazy.
At least he's not the guy with the bong.
Yeah, man. If that guy with the bong showed up, I don't know what I would do.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what they do with Iron Fist.
Favorites of all time, like the whole arc of just him entering the city, the Forgotten City. After that, I feel like it just lost its edge, and it just became this flashback to all the previous Rands, and it just became boring and watered down.
What do you guys think about this casting? Sir Loras from Game of Thrones, they cast as Iron Fist.
Yeah, that's interesting. He doesn't really have anything, to go off of, like if he's, great or not. I mean, we've only seen him, I feel like, in Game of Thrones, and not even that much in Game of Thrones, so we really have nothing to go off of.
Do you at least like the physical look of the actor for Iron Fist?
I'm glad that they went with a younger version, but not too young.
Yeah.
Because I thought maybe they were going to go, kind of like high school, and maybe kind of play him off with, Spider-Man eventually.
Spidey say fists are nice.
My best friend just popped in. I see you over there, Sweet D. You should hop on the cam.
Which I still don't know if they ever plan on, crossing those universes over.
Well, I hope that Strange is still involved with Defenders in some way, because Defenders was always his team. So if he could be some kind of asset to them when they have a big threat, that would be really cool. D, hi.
Yeah, I'd like to welcome my best friend in the whole wide world. So we're kind of on the subject of Netflix Marvel shows. Jessica Jones and Iron Fist and Daredevil, Luke Cage. You guys excited for Luke Cage coming out?
King of the town. Yeah, I've been there.
Yeah, I feel like that'd be pretty interesting.
Yeah, I watched the teaser. I just feel like the teaser was such a teaser, like felt like 5 seconds long.
Well, that's the point of a teaser.
There's 2-minute long Marvel teasers, so.
We're also talking about like first interactions with like comic books and like superheroes. Do you remember when you first knew about superheroes, or
like you love Superman? What's your first Superman experience?
My first Superman experience is the old Technicolor cartoons with like the very terrible acting and stuff. I'm like the ones that used to be black and white, and then they they turned it into color with like the train going by. For some reason, I always remember a train in one of them.
I grew up with a mom who, even though she's kind of like a robot, like she definitely watches a lot of cartoons that you wouldn't expect and has comic books everywhere. So I've known about it since we lived in Japan. Really, Parker?
Why did you name your dog Parker?
Oh, after Peter Parker, Spider-Man.
Oh, Joe and Ashley.
Hey guys.
How's it going?
Hey. Team Cap or Team Iron Man?
Cap.
Cap, definitely.
Oh, they agree. Look at that.
See, this might be it for us. This might.
You know they're going to end up being, like, maybe not friends, but working together in the end. I mean, come on. There's the whole Thanos situation going on.
Do you guys remember your first experiences with comic books?
Comics, like, major experiences? Because I've always been aware of, like, comic stuff as far as I can remember, like Batman and Superman and stuff like that.
Watching the old Superman
serials.
Yeah, serials on, like, I guess, like Nick at Night or whatever, the black and white ones with George Reeves.
And who, disguised as Clark Kent, mild-mannered reporter for a great metropolitan newspaper.
Watching those a lot and getting scared.
But the first major comics I ever bought into was actually the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Cyber Samurai comics from, like, Archie Comics way back in the day. I had the whole set of those things.
Oh boy, I feel a flashback.
One time a guy dressed up as Spider-Man came to our Target and I got a comic signed by him. One of the, like, in-store promotions or whatever. It's like, I think I was in elementary school. It's like, this is so cool. It's Spider-Man.
Right.
Yeah, my brother was actually a children's entertainer, and he plays Spider-Man mostly. See, we need Raul for this. He would be perfect.
Raul! Hey. This episode's focusing on your, like, first experiences, whether it be actual comics or, like, the movies or TV.
I think that I watched first as I think the first movie that I saw was the Christopher Reeve Superman.
His name is Kal-El.
And then I remember the first one in the theater was Batman Forever. That was the first superhero movie that I saw in the theater.
Kissed by a rose.
Baby, I compare you to a kiss from a rose on the grave.
So we've been doing a lot of talking about first comic book experience. What's the most recent stuff you guys have been reading? How about you, Austin?
Spider-Gwen.
Cool. Yeah, I love that Spider-Gwen.
Yeah, like I finally got getting caught up. I mean, it came out last year, so I was behind. But like a couple weeks ago, like Marvel Unlimited was running like a free month.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and so I signed up for a free month, and I've just been reading away, like every night. And just, I mean, it's a good place to catch up on some comics that you didn't pick up last year. And if you miss the time to read a series, I mean, it can get pretty expensive to go back and and read them. So
the other thing too is they're expensive now, and I realize, and I know there's inflation and things like that, but for me, you've got to understand the point of view of, not that when I was a kid they were 25 cents, or even when I was collecting them in the 90s that they were $1. But once they moved from the newspaper type paper to whatever they're using now, then you have a comic that's $4. And I don't want to spend $4 on something that I'm going to read just once and put away. Now, I do that for like some older comics, or even the current Frank Miller one. But for a lot of people, $4 is just too much.
If you, I would suggest Marvel has a great online comic. Once you find a story that you love that you would want enough to have in book form, then maybe putting up the money. That's how I'm doing it now. It's like I need to read it
You're
before.
waiting for the trades too.
Yeah, and the trade, so you get everything. And because whenever I get single issues, I end up losing one, or keep them all together is a nightmare.
But yeah, so I've been reading the Spider-Gwen and the whole Spider-Verse, and God, I mean, it's great.
It's funny you bring that up, because when I went down and I actually visited Dee and Kimber down in Florida, we went to this Tate's Comic Books, and that was the only book I was looking for, and they didn't have it. And then we went to Manhattan to find it. They didn't have it. So it's crazy.
Had no luck finding the
Yeah.
Spider-Verse. What are you reading recently?
So I just put this up. It's the return of the real Batman as opposed to the Jim Gordon Batman.
Right.
I couldn't stand Mecha Batman. I thought it was a waste of time for me to read. I went into it like, hey, you know what? It could be good. It really could be. Jim Gordon has a mohawk now for some reason, even though he's an old man, and He's rocking a ginger mohawk. Why not? Give him a Batman suit and a lighter suit. And then I started reading, and I'm just like, this is not what I wanted. So finally, Bruce Wayne is back, and I'm kind of interested to see where this goes, even though his new suit looks really weird. And the Joker apparently has amnesia, just like Bruce Wayne did.
What have you been reading recently?
Me?
Yeah. Well, you said you were reading American Alien, Max
Yeah,
Landis.
no, I was reading American Alien. I'm only 2 issues in. That's pretty good so far, though. I had to read it twice. The first time I watched Smallville, so I'm familiar with the Clark Kent story. He made some odd choices, but I was kind of able to appreciate them more.
Yeah, I was wondering if that series was going to be any good.
Again, only 2 issues in, but from everything I'm hearing, it's good. I don't really have an income. Yeah, exactly. I don't really have an income to drop. That's why you said that Marvel thing, and I got really excited. But I just caught up on the Battle World.
I don't know, man. I don't know how anyone can get to the Battle World stuff. And you know what? I enjoyed the ending of it with the Molecule Man, but it seemed so prolonged.
I think my favorite aspect of comic books is that there's so many alternate versions of characters. I really like that. I really like multiverse theory. So for that to apply to fiction,
I'm back.
Yeah, when I first read that, when did that come out? It's been a while.
2005-ish, right?
Yeah. 2005, 2006.
I remember not even really knowing about it. I was at work. I was working with a guy, and he actually brought it in the first issue, and I was like, and that's what got me onto it. And at the time, I was like, yeah, that seems like a really good concept, and that was way before, Kimber said the zombie fatigue that we have now was a great concept, and the imagery, that one picture of Peter Parker with Aunt May, with his
it bothered me that Spider-Man cared. What's the point of that?
What's the point of that?
What did you think, Austin?
To see that, if we ever saw that live action, that would be. But yeah, it was a pretty good run for, especially and it was before its time. I don't know if somebody said that or not. Was a good run in a good what if scenario. I always that's one of my favorite in kind of any kind of comics is what ifs, where it's not the ones that we know. It's what if this happened? What if, that's was it 2 years ago with the Jane Foster Thor, it's a good run to see. It's what if she had the hammer?
Yeah. Before we move on to what ifs, I just want to say one more thing about Marvel Zombies. Beautiful artwork on that comic. I remember that it was really nicely drawn. You like what ifs? I'm sure you have something to say about.
Again, the what ifs is because I like seeing characters put into different situations, which is why I like the alternate universes for sure. My favorite what if? Probably Darkest Night, where Bruce Wayne gets the Green Lantern ring. Bruce Wayne, a testament to willpower, having the Green Lantern ring would just be insane.
What's this do?
All right, guys. Well, I want to thank everybody if you stuck around to watch the whole thing. I want to thank Austin again, our guest earlier on the show. You can check out his reviews at hweird1review.com. They're short and fun. Mike, do you want to give a shout out to your podcast?
It's the MMA Think Tank podcast, and me and my buddy Jay, we do that. If you go to the Facebook for MMA Think Tank podcast, check it out, like it. That's great. If you don't like it, that's cool too. I understand.
I guess the next place I know I'm going to see you is on TUFF. If you go search the unofficial fan fight at youtube.com, we're a bunch of Screen Junkie fans who do movie fights similar to the way they do it on there. See you later. Thank you. Everybody wave. Look cool like you're having fun. We're having fun. And the fun's ending. I got a little second.